Welcome back, everybody. As the season goes longer and longer, it's really hard to find really great storylines to talk about, but Alex does a really good job in doing so. So, Alex, take it away, my guy.
Thank you, James. As I was hosting last week, we did not talk about fantasy, but I feel like we should. James pulled out a win also, so he is in the championship. And then I squeaked out a win over Tyler, I think by 28 points. So after 2 weeks, the score was like 3,000 and something to 3,000 and something else. I don't remember exactly, but 28 points.
There was a point there late Sunday night where we were tied, and fucking Fred VanVleet got hurt again, so we didn't play. And the only player you had left was Anthony Davis. So I knew you were going to win at that point because Anthony Davis is going to put up at least 1 point. And unfortunately, my second best scorer all season didn't play. So that was brutal. I really thought for a second there I was going to come back and win that one. But congrats, Alex, on making the championship. I'm still butthurt about it, but I'll get over it.
Yeah, it would have been really disappointing if I had missed out on the championship in both hockey and basketball with a combined record of 25-4 or something.
Yeah, I really wanted to beat you in both fantasy hockey and basketball. That would have been phenomenal, but
I have the opportunity to
can't have it all.
So James did beat me in fantasy hockey, and now he and I are in the championship for fantasy basketball. That'll be fun. Yeah, but Anthony Davis, whoo! Thank God for coming off the injured list finally. Got me a win, baby. So obviously, as we're the fantasy basketball season is finishing up, that means the regular NBA season is also winding down. So we're going to start. This week's going to be we're going to be working into the playoff scenarios, working into some playoff thoughts, because it's getting down to it. Again, we still have that stupid play-in tourney to look at. So we're going to start in the East. So as of yesterday, not as like yesterday morning, the Celtics, the Heat, and the Hawks were the 5 through 7 seeds in the East. So again, the 5 and the 6 seeds do not have to play in the play-in tourney. The 7 seed will play in that tournament. If they win, they're in. If they lose, they got to play another game. So Eric, out of those 3 teams, they've been, I would say, up and down all season. All 3 of them have been pretty mediocre. How do you see this falling? How do you see these 3 teams falling? Or a shocker, some other team finishes in those spots?
I see that the Celtics are going to be in that 7th spot, and they will be in the play-in game. Because to me, they've been the most inconsistent team this year, and they continue to be the most inconsistent. They have had injuries to key players, but so have a lot of other teams. And when they do have their guys playing, their superstars and everybody, they still seem to be inconsistent. Quite frankly, I believe they're going to be in this play-in game, and I believe they're going to trash this play-in game, and they're going to trash their season away. All I've done this whole season is praise them and say that they have what it takes and that they're better than we think they are. But I feel like now it's finally time to say the opposite of that, because I've been wrong every time. And I want to be right. So this is what's going to happen. They're going to be in this play-in game. They're going to trash it to the Hornets, because they would play the 8th seed, or would they play? Yeah.
7, 8 play. And
the Hornets announcers are going to be going crazy that game. I can't wait to hear what they're going to be saying, because the Celtics are going to lose to the Hornets in this play-in game. This whole year, they haven't had it really clicking, and I don't see them moving on from it.
Yeah, I've kind of also been on that Celtics train. I mean, Jason Tatum is a superstar. He had some COVID issues. Jaylen Brown is a really good player. He's had some COVID issues. They, at the beginning of the season, I thought the Celtics would end up in the top 4 seeds. I thought that was pretty much a done deal. We shouldn't even be really talking about them that much. And yeah, they've been completely up and down. If anything, they're probably the most disappointing team in the NBA this season. I kind of agree with you. I think the Hawks are, with a new coach, they're getting healthy. They're playing much better basketball. The Heat have also been up and down, but they've had a ton of injuries. I just think they have enough veteran leadership on that Heat team, as well as a really good coach in Eric Spoelstra that they'll finish in that top 6. It would be really fun to see the Celtics, the old, historic franchise against the upstart Hornets who, no one was really talking about to start the season. And now, LaMelo and all those guys kind of brought some life into that team. So that would be a super fun 7-8 matchup. So I'm going to agree with you. I think the Celtics will falter. I don't have faith in them. They seem so up and down all season. So moving on, we're going to flip sides to the Western Conference now, a little bit higher up in the standing. So Eric mentioned it earlier, but the Nuggets and the Clippers are kind of fighting for that 3-4 seed. They're kind of percentage points apart right now. It seems like the Suns and the Jazz are going to finish 1-2. Nuggets and Clippers somewhere in that 3-4 range. As we currently sit, the kind of like in the East, the 5, 6, 7 seeds are all really tightly bunched up, but the 6 seed right now, and this is super, can change, is the Lakers. They're kind of getting healthy. They got AD back. LeBron came back for a couple of days. He's missed a game. Now Dennis Schroeder's out for what could be a couple of weeks with COVID protocol issues. So James, which one of these teams between the Nuggets and the Clippers will finish as that 3 seed? And, just as we currently sit, the Lakers are sitting 6. So whoever finishes the 3 is going to play the 6 in the first round. If do you even want that? Like, do you really want to play the Lakers in the first round, even if they are a 6 seed? Go for it.
The first part of that question I want to answer. I don't think the Lakers are going to be the 6 seed. I think the Lakers slip to 7 and end up playing that play-in round. Reason being, everything you just said. AD is coming back. He's not 100% healthy. LeBron comes out and saying he's never going to be 100% ever again. Sits out the fourth quarter of last game. He's going to miss some time probably. And then Dennis Schroeder is out for at least 2 weeks, 10 to 14 days. There's no team chemistry on that team right now whatsoever. In basketball, you need a lot of team chemistry. You got to be able to know where people are going to be. Plays are based off of feel and reactions to what everybody else, the defense, is doing. And without team chemistry, you're not going to know where to throw the ball. Design plays are elementary. That's when you do in middle school. Like, you go here, you go here, you go here. In the NBA, it's based off what the defense gives you, and the plays are run off reactions. No team chemistry, no success. And that's what the Lakers are going to be right now. They're not doing well. They're not slipping out of the play-in seed, but they will be in the play-in portion of that. To answer the other part of your question, who is going to be the number 3 seed, who does not play the Lakers, they will be playing the Mavericks, who will be the number 6 seed. That's the Clippers. Eric's probably super happy. Reason being is the schedule that is coming up for both teams. The Nuggets have a harder schedule, big time, versus the Clippers. The Nuggets play 5 playoff-bound teams, and they play the Jazz and the Nets, 2 teams in which are going to be top in their division in the conference. And then the Clippers just play 3 playoff-bound teams, and they also play, like Houston and the Thunder. Those are bottom feeder teams. Right now, the Clippers are starting to get their groove on. Like, Kawhi's coming back for a decent amount of time. They're trying to – I don't think they're going to do rest days anymore. They're trying to get that team chemistry back, try to get everything moving, get them in game shape for playoffs. And with that health coming back and everybody coming back right now, I think the Clippers team is starting to roll. They're currently on a losing streak. That's a good thing because they're learning how to lose and they're learning what doesn't work for them. And with that, they're going to go into playoffs without the false sense of confidence that they can win every single game, knowing that if they don't try hard enough, they're going to lose, and that's going to help them later on.
Okay, so if the Lakers fall into the 7 and Dallas is the 6, are you saying Portland's the 5? Or who's then the 5 seed?
Dallas is going to be 5. Portland is going to be 6.
Okay,
Lakers are going to be 7.
So it's going to be Clippers 3, Portland 6. And then the 4-5 matchup will be Denver, Dallas.
Correct.
I like that. I don't because I don't want the Lakers to fall into the play-in tournament.
It's going to happen, man.
I think it probably will. They do have no chemistry right now, and their upcoming schedule is pretty brutal.
Y'all want to hear a conspiracy theory real fast, though?
Sure.
Okay, so I saw this on TikTok because I was on TikTok for a long time the other night. But the NBA wants to make money. the NBA makes money based off of play-in games, and the more playoff games that they have, the more revenue they have. So they're trying to make the play-in game a thing. And what better way to kind of make a play-in game permanent by having a lot of people watch it? And there's a lot of people are going to watch the Lakers play. Let's be real. Even if you don't really watch basketball when the Lakers are on, you know what's going on. Like the LeBron plays in that team, AD plays in that team. People are going to watch the play-in game if the Lakers make that play-in game. And the more viewers they have, the more chances it becomes permanent. So conspiracy theory, I think Adam Silver is trying to get the Lakers to play in that play-in game to make it more permanent.
Sounds like James is eliciting the R word. Hashtag rigged.
No. I was like, what is the R word, dude?
What R word?
Is that what you're saying is rigged?
Yeah, dude. Eric said it himself last year, man. Basketball is not real. Basketball is just made up, guys.
Fake.
It's all fantasy.
As soon as the Clippers lost, yeah, dude, basketball, that people pulling the strings is fine. Never watching basketball again until next year.
Yeah, exactly.
I think Dallas will be the 5. And looking at the schedule, looking at the standings, the other 3 teams in the play-ins they're 3 games out with 2 weeks to play. They're probably not making that up. So it's going to be, Dallas, Lakers, Portland as those 5. That's somewhere in that 5 through 7. I just don't trust either the Lakers or Portland right now. I mean, the Trailblazers can't play defense. They're terrible at defense. All you have to do is double Dame, and they can't score enough. So if the Lakers can be at least a little bit healthy, I think they have a shot at staying in that 6th seed, but they'll do it by playing under 500 basketball somehow. I like your conspiracy theory because you're right. This is the first season of this stupid play-in tournament. It seems like all the players really fucking hate it. So it will be interesting, especially, if LeBron, the most important and the biggest face in the sport, is in that tournament, how it goes, especially if he loses somehow and doesn't make it out, which is very possible. They could lose 2 games, even if they're the 7 seed, very easily. It wouldn't,
they lost the Kings the other night with LeBron and AD. So
yeah, that is very true.
So it's 2 games. It's a 2-game series.
No,
or wait.
If you're the 3
best out of 3.
Yeah, it basically.
You win 1, we win 1, and then we'll let the NBA decide.
If you're 7-8, you play, and if you win, you're 7.
Got it.
If you lose, you play 9 or 10.
Yeah, the winner of that game. So yeah, if you're 9 or 10, if you're so right now, the Golden State Warriors and the Spurs are 9 and 10 respectively. Let's say the Warriors win, the Spurs are out. And then right now, Portland and Memphis are the 7-8. Let's say Portland wins. They're then the 7 seed. And then Memphis and Golden State plays. Whoever wins that is the 8 seed. I don't understand it. It's really fucking dumb. But that's where we are, I guess.
It's like college football shit.
Yeah.
You get a playoff spot.
Yeah, it's too many. I think basketball already has too many playoff teams. The playoffs run for a month and a half, and there's really only 4 teams that could ever win it anyway. So whatever, we'll talk about that later. Okay, we're going to stay in the West, and these are going to be back-to-back kind of identical questions. But in the West right now, I kind of mentioned it already earlier, Utah and Phoenix they're tied. They're both 46 and 18. Phoenix is, at least on the NBA standings board, in first. They probably hold the tiebreaker over the Utah Jazz. These are both young teams, other than Chris Paul, who hasn't been up in this part of the standings in a really long time for either one of these franchises. So, Tyler, which one ends up as the 1 seed, and which one of them needs it more? Because whoever gets the 1 seed, assuming they win out, has home court advantage throughout the playoffs. And we're not playing in a bubble this year. You're playing at your own home court. Most places, I believe all of them now, have at least some fans. So Utah, Phoenix, who's number 1 and who needs it more?
So the first part question, who gets it? So as you mentioned, the Suns do own the tiebreaker. They won all 3 matchups against the Jazz this season. So if they do end up tied, the Suns will be the 1 seed. The Suns are also 23-9 against teams above 500. That is the best record in the NBA against teams against 500. So the Suns are playing very well against very good teams. So looking at the remaining schedule here, they both have 8 games left. The biggest kind of standout is the difference between home games of the two. So the Jazz have 5 of their 8 games left are at home. The Suns only have 2 of their final 8 games at home. So looking at their home win records, the Jazz have the best record in the NBA at home. The Suns have the best record in the NBA on the road. So this is legit a coin flip. I don't know who's going to end up getting the 1 seed. So I brought a coin with me, and we're going to
man,
going to win. So
There's an app for that, just so you know.
Well, I'm going to do actual coin because that's more, it's just more authentic. So heads is going to be the Suns because they're ahead in the Western Conference right now.
I hate that.
And then tails.
Hate that.
And then tails is going to be the Utah Jazz. All right, ready? Here we go. Flip. All right, heads. So the Phoenix Suns are their Western Conference champions.
Jesus Christ.
Right?
Give your
So there
flip a
you
4
go.
out of 10. That was a shit
Figure it
flip,
out.
dude.
So who needs it more? I would say probably the Jazz need it more because I mentioned the best home record in basketball. The Suns have the best road record. So based off of those statistics, I think the Jazz having home court advantage, having that secured, playing in their home arena. I'm pretty sure, I don't know what Utah's attendance is, but it's probably higher than a lot of places. So they've always had really great fans, a really tough home crowd. So I think the Jazz probably need it more. But as the coin decided, the Suns will get the first seed.
Okay, so as the coin decided, I kind of like that. I hate how you determined which team was which thing, but I like the coin flip because I thought it was fun. I'm gonna go with the Utah Jazz. I think they also need it more. They've been the better team all year, except for apparently when they play the Suns. And I think the Utah Jazz, just like what you said, they've got some raucous fans. It's been a long time since the Jazz have been this good. So, I mean, same for the Suns, but I think the Jazz need it more. I think it's going to be really close, though. I think they're going to be within at least 2 games of each other. It does seem like the Jazz are kind of starting to falter, and the Suns are really starting to play well. That would be a really fun Western Conference Finals matchup, though. We'll see if the coin is right or if Tyler's an idiot.
Yeah.
Traded. Same question, but Eastern Conference. So right now, the 76ers are a half game up on the Brooklyn Nets. Same question. Who's going to end up in first, and who needs home court throughout the playoffs?
All right. The real basketball guy is here, baby. Here we go.
All right, here we go.
Here we go. The 76ers are going to win the East. Quite simply because of the schedule. The Nets have 3 above 500 teams that they have to face. One of them being the Bucks tomorrow. They're playing the Nuggets and they're playing the Spurs, who the Spurs are playing for their lives at this point. I mean, that's pretty sure. It's pretty clear that they're pretty sure they're going to get in, and that 10th spot, which is a fake playoff spot as far as I'm concerned. But they're still a team that obviously is there. I mean, that's the truth. They play the Bulls twice and the Cavaliers once. And so they have, compared to the 76ers, who only have to play one team that is a 500 or above 500, and that's the Heat. They play the Pistons, who are not even above 30%. They play the Magic, who are barely over 30%. They play the Rockets, who we all know. I don't even need to say anything there. And the Pelicans aren't that fantastic either. I mean, they'll be fighting for a spot, but it's not going to happen. So I think just based on schedule, I'm going to give the edge to the 76ers. On top of that, and it kind of leads into my next question, is who I think needs it more. And similar to how Tyler did it, even though I used intellect to figure out who's going to actually make it.
Oh, shit.
The other team, the Nets, needed the top spot more, in my opinion. And I just look at the stats. You don't want to play. So the 3-headed juggernaut in the East is the Bucks, the 76ers, and the Nets, right? Whoever gets that second spot has to play either. So let's say it's 76ers make it in. The Nets have to play both the Bucks and the 76ers to get through, right? That's just how you have to play both of them. If you have that first spot, you only have to play one of them, right, in that conference final. So you don't want to have to play two intense, hard-fought battles if you can help it. And I give the edge offensively to the Nets, but I don't like their defense. I mean, their defense is okay, but it's not fantastic. They're ranked 26th. So that's not very great. While the 76ers have a second ranked defense. Yes, it is true that the offense on the 76ers is about average, it's about average. I think a 13th rank, but they do have a second ranked defense. And in my opinion, in the playoffs, defense is going to help you, stay in games, stay in series. And even, you're going to be playing those teams that can score. I mean, I know that, that top spot's going to be played against teams like those weak teams. I don't know whoever you want to throw in there after the play in, but they obviously don't have the offensive abilities. And if you can limit the amount of games you have to play in that first round, it helps you down the stretch. So first of all, I like the 76ers making that first spot, but I think the Nets need it more just based on, I don't think that they have the defense to handle a, long series against two juggernaut teams. If you can help it, you really want to play one juggernaut team, not two. And I just think that the Nets would not make it through to the finals if they end up in the second spot.
Drayden, for not being a basketball guy, that was a really smart answer. I liked everything you just said. I've been talking about how poor the Nets defense is for months. It feels like at this point, yeah, they can score in crazy bunches, but eventually you're going to have to play 6-7 games against Giannis Antetokounmpo or, Joel Embiid and Ben Simmons and Tobias Harris and the 76ers. So I think I agree with you. I think the Sixers are going to get it. They have a much easier schedule. Their defense, they're going to probably finish with two guys in the top 3 or 4 of the Defensive Player of the Year award. And yeah, you're totally right. Whoever gets that 1 seed, assuming things fall into place.
Right.
We thought that's how they were going to work out last year, and they didn't. But assuming, you're going to have to play 2 of those teams, you really don't want to do that. You don't want to play the Knicks either, depending on where they fall. They are a very good defensive team as well. So I like what you said. I'm going to agree with you. I think Philly will take the 1 seed, and I think they want it more. They're both of those teams have a lot of guys who have played like a lot of playoffs games, but KD, Kyrie, even James Harden, they've played more playoff games. They've been in crazy, KD has 2 championships. Kyrie's got 1. So I think Philly wants that 1 seed. I think, Philadelphia fans they're fucking wild. Like, that's just who Philadelphia is. So if you're the Sixers, you want that 1 seed. To finish it off, we have been really mean to Tyler in the last little bit.
Yes.
I do believe a couple months ago, we were talking about this and he said the Washington Wizards could make the playoffs. They're currently the 10 seed. I just want to give Tyler a little bit of love because when he said that, we told him he was a fucking moron. And here they are.
James said that.
Yeah, James. I was trying to leave you out of it. But actually, James has been a dick to me today too. So
I'm a dick to everybody all the time.
Tyler, I don't know if the Wizards are gonna. They probably will. They're 3 games up on the Raptors. They could do it.
Let me flip a coin real fast.
So, but I just wanted to give that as a little shout out.
Chance.
Because apparently Bradley Beal can carry this team all the way. Even though Brody's been killing it lately. Okay, James, that's all I got for basketball this week. We're getting down to it. So the playoffs are kind of coming into picture. It kind of looks like in both leagues, the 10 teams we've got are the 10 teams we're going to get. Just all going to come down to seeding. But yeah, James, I'm done.
It'll be really fun to watch and see how that unfolds. A lot of good information, Alex, but I think the biggest thing we learned is that Tyler likes to flip coins and make big life decisions.
Oh, yeah.
So take with that as you will.